The exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth is on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
In front of the net, loose puck for Stenlund. One-timer by Carconi. This way, Krause shoots and scores! Thank you very much. Lawson Krause puts Utah on top. It's 2-1. Guenther up ahead. It's Keller on the move. Keller to the front. Tapped in. They score! He's done it again! Dylan Guenther! Wow! Overtime winner!
You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This song came on the radio when I was around my kids the other day, and my 4-year-old goes, "Dad, is this Spanish?" I said, "I really don't know what they're singing, honey. I really have no idea." Join Hanson Scotty coming up tomorrow at RGS Exteriors from noon to 3, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. The Mammoth are red hot. They've won 4 in a row, and joining us now is our good buddy on the broadcast team, Nick Olczyk. What's going on, Nick?
What's up, boys? Great to be back with you, and the Mammoths are rolling right now. So very happy days and well deserved for how this team started their home ice advantage this year with 4 wins from 4 games.
I've watched all the games, but I watched the first 3 games of the season. I just thought, man, you guys are talking a lot about how well Nick Schmaltz is playing, and he can't put the puck in the back of the net. I'm just like, you guys are really praising how good he's playing, and I just like he keeps missing. And then he has the hat trick, and then I guess he didn't score in the next game, but it went off of Cooley, and it was really his hard work. And he's been awesome since then. What have you seen from Nick Schmaltz? What was he doing early that a layman like me is not seeing?
Well, it's interesting because last year, it took him 24 games to get his first goal. And there were a lot of moments in those 24 games where you just doesn't matter what you do. The puck it's like a force field behind the opposing team's net. But this year now he's got 4 goals in 7 games. And I think one of the other contributing factors to the goal scoring ability for Nick Schmaltz this year is he's just getting to the inside more. And he's actually got 13 inner slot shots this year, which is tied for the most in the National Hockey League. And by inner slot shots, for those who may not know, it's pretty much the area directly in front of the other team's crease. Like the slot is probably 6 to 10 feet out in front of the crease. Well, the inner slot, that is about as close as you can get. So if there was one area of the ice a player could pick to shoot from, it would be the inner slot. That's about as close to the net as you can get. So he's getting to the high danger areas now, keeping in mind getting there is one thing, to pay a price and being willing to go there, that's an important part, but also having teammates that are skilled enough to get you the puck there and at the right time, with the right amount of power on the pass and of course the timing of it too. So I just think he's getting to the inside even more this year. And 2, Nick Schmaltz, you look at his career, you watch him throughout the course of a game. He is a pass-first type of player. He's never going to be a guy that's going to go and get you 40 goals. He'll get you 20 for sure, but his assist numbers will always be higher than the goal totals. It's just naturally how he is, and he's made a long, really nice career of setting up his teammates. But the passes that have come to him have been too good, and he's been in too good of a position to pass up the shot to eventually find the back of the net. So I think it's just a mixture of the guys he's been playing with. And then when you play with a guy like Clayton Keller, who is as good of a passer and as elite of a passer as there is in the NHL, sometimes all you can do is shoot the puck depending on the situation and the area of the ice that he puts you in. So it's been a great start for him. It's been a heck of a start for that line, and a cool little tidbit, guys, to put a bow on Schmaltz here. You mentioned the hat trick. He has 2 hat tricks in his career, one here with the Utah Mammoth and one when he was down in Arizona. And then both nights where he had hat tricks, Grandpa Schmaltz was in attendance. And Grandpa Schmaltz has only seen Nick play twice live in his career. So pretty special moments there, and I know a lot of families were in town visiting their boys and visiting their young guys this last homestand. So cool little tidbit, and no doubt it has been a great start to the year for number 8.
So something you've got to know about me, Nick, if a professional athlete comes on to my show, I am going to kiss their backside. With that in mind, Barrett Hayton was on our show earlier this week, and my question to you is, why is he directly responsible for their good play as of late?
Yeah, look, that is PR 101. So way to go. That's how you keep people coming back for more.
It's not my first day on the job, Nick.
Yeah.
I know where my bread's butter.
That's why we're so nice to you, Nick. Yeah. Don't ever say no to us.
Don't worry. I shower every day, so my backside is nice and clean. Okay, boys. All right. No, but look, Barrett Hayton. He is on every line where you've got two highly skilled players, and I want to preface this by saying I am not at all saying that Barrett Hayton is not a highly skilled player. He extremely is, and you have to be able to be very skilled to play with good players. But his skill and his strengths they're in different areas that complement his line mates so well. And I think the added benefit to that line when you're playing with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller, who are guys that love to hang on to the puck, they love to possess it, they really don't give it up all that much. You need to have a player down the middle of the ice that can do the dirty work. That when those guys are passing around the perimeter, trying to seek entry into the middle of the ice, you need a guy that's going to be able to be at the net front. And when Keller or Schmaltz wants to shoot the puck, you need a guy that's going to be able to be at the net, screening the goaltender. And if he's not directly screening, just by him being there is going to draw defenders with him. And then the goalie's got to worry about not just one guy trying to take away his eyes, but that one guy draws two defenders with him, and now the goalie's trying to look through a forest of bodies in front of him. Winning faceoffs is another key. Barrett was over 50% last year, and since coming back to the lineup this year after managing a bit of an injury towards the end of the preseason, he has been so crucial, especially on the power play, to be able to win draws, and because there's nothing worse as a power play that when you don't win your face-off and the other team clears it all the way down, and then you got to travel the entirety of the 200-foot ice sheet to get back in the zone and try to get set up and make the plays you're looking for. So I just think when he's on that line with Schmaltz and with Keller, to borrow a phrase from what the kids are saying these days, he's a dog. He really is. He's the guy that's going to go in the corners. He's going to hunt pucks. He's going to get into those guys' hands and allow them to do what they do, which is oftentimes magic. But with that being said, for as hardworking as he is and the grunt work that he does, you need a lot of skill and you need a lot of hockey IQ to be able to play with guys like that. And for Barrett Hayton, he is no doubt the perfect fit, especially considering those three guys have played together for a bunch of years now, and they just seemingly know where each other are going to be most times before they even get there.
Somehow, Dylan Guenther continues to be the most clutch player in all of hockey, and I tend to think sometimes with clutchness and some of those things, it's a little random, or it's, well, yeah, he's on the ice in overtime because he's one of the best scorers, so you're going to have him out there. But it's inarguable. It's one every 4 games he's played, and one every 4 win that the Mammoth have since he's been on the ice as a member of Utah. He scored the game-winning goal. It's just crazy to see a player that productive in the biggest moments. What have you seen from him that makes that possible?
Well, just to provide a little color to that beautiful picture you're painting, 24. Just follow me here, guys. Okay, 24. Of his last 31 goals. Now, he doesn't have 31 goals this year, so we're gonna dip our toes into last year. Okay, so dating back to last year, of his last 31 goals, 24 of those has either tied the game or given Utah the lead. And 6 of his last 10, we're gonna again dip our toes last year. 6 of his last 10 have been game winners. So we're seeing some unbelievable play in the biggest moments of the game, and the numbers are proving that to be. When 24 of the last 31 goals you have scored in your career have either tied the game or given your team the lead, I mean, to me, he continues to amaze, but we shouldn't be shocked because he's the type of guy that wants the puck on his stick at the most important moments. Now, aside from just the amazing shot that he possesses, his full 200-foot game allows head coach Andre Tourigny to put him out there in key moments during the game. When you're down by one, when you're tied. Of course, when you're trailing by a goal, you're going to send out your best goal scorers as much as you can, and that's one thing. But then in tied games, late in games, in overtime, that's where you need guys that, yes, are game breakers, but especially in a tied game, a coach is not going to play a lot of a guy that doesn't really trust, that can't play defense. And that's the special part about Dylan Guenther. And look, we're never – the first 5 things out of our mouth is never going to be defense related just because of the scoring ability and the willingness to get to the hard areas that he has, and at such an elite level, because guys like that just don't grow on trees. But I really do think his reliability and responsibility to cover in his defensive end helps the goal scoring that he has, because when he's on the ice, and whether it's with that line of Cooley and Peterka that have gelled so well together at the start of this year, as a coach, as a teammate, as a broadcaster, as a fan, like when he's out there, you just know that if he's in his own defensive zone, he's going to take care, and he's not going to cheat for offense. And I think one of the contributing examples of that is that he's played a lot on the penalty kill this year. Your leading goal scorer, who's going to be getting, I think, 40 goals every season, is killing penalties. That says to me so much about the maturity of this kid. And it hasn't just been in the NHL where he scored big goals. Think back to 2023, the World Junior Championships up in Halifax, Nova Scotia. He scored the golden goal in overtime of the gold medal game to help Team Canada win back in 23. He's made a career of coming through in those big moments. And in those moments, the game speeds up for some guys. And for others, it slows down. He is very much the latter, where he's always under control. And when the game's on the line, he knows and has the confidence that he wants to be the guy to be able to come through. So whether it's a tying goal in the middle of February or a goal to win the gold medal for his country when he's 18, 19 years old, we're very lucky to have him as part of this team. And there are just some guys that have a knack for coming up with key goals at huge moments, and the theory remains true and will remain true for a long time for the guy that's got a couple breadsticks on his back in a Utah Mammoth sweater.
All right, Nick, the Mammoths started off the year 1-2 on the road. The 4 wins in a row have all come at home. Well, 8 out of the next 9 are on the road, and in fact, 10 out of the next 12 are on the road. So my question to you is, outside of Barrett Hayton, what do the Mammoth need to do to tighten it up and get some wins on the road?
Well, I think a couple areas that on this homestand they have gotten even better at in the defensive zone is the walls. And I urge any of our fans when watching on TV or when listening to Mikey Folta call the games on the radio side, when Utah is defending, watch the sideboards where you've got the net, and then both to the right and to the left of the net, all the way out, you've got the sideboards. Like those are called the walls, and so crucial for a team to play well defensively is to win those wall battles, and that's where the left wing and the right wingers patrol. And that's usually the general vicinity where they're at when Utah is able to quickly get possession in their own zone. So the added emphasis of defending from middle ice out, not getting overly extended, not being too physical in the D zone to the point where you're running out of position, and then you run out of position, you get caught out too wide, and then the other team makes one pass, and then all of a sudden it's an odd man situation in front of your net. So the walls, that's always an area that I'm fascinated by, where if those wingers can make plays to chip the puck by the defenseman who wants to be aggressive and pinch down, that's going to lead to 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s for Utah the other way. So defensive zone, that's an area, the walls. But also I thought something that Utah did well for stretches against Colorado in their last game was how well they possessed the puck up the ice. There's a lot of different ways to defend, and I think when you think defense, you think, oh, well, when we're in our defensive zone, when the other team has the puck, that's when we're defending. But if you think about it a little bit of a different way, we can defend when we have the puck by being confident in the plays that we make and not being overly high risk up the ice, especially when you're playing teams that transition as well as the Colorado Avalanche do. The team they're going to be playing tonight, the St. Louis Blues, they got a ton of speed in their forward group. So if you mismanage the puck at their blue line or in their zone and your defenseman pinches and there's not coverage back, you're feeding right into what the opposition is wanting to do. So defensively, how to tighten up, I'm looking at the walls in the defensive zone, which were really good. I think it's in a really good place, but continuing to win those. But also taking care of the puck up the ice, because that's the one area that fast teams can really hurt you, is when you try to make a drop pass and it's not the right time, or you try to overcomplicate things and then guys get caught up the ice and then there's odd man rushes back the other way. And that's something that when this team is playing at their best, they're confident in making plays. They're confident in shooting the puck. They're not passing up opportunities to shoot it, but there is a fine line, because if you overpass or you try to make the fancy play more times than not, that's where you get caught and you're feeding into what the opposition's trying to do.
Nick, thank you as always. We love our chats. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, boys. Have a great day.